One of the biggest X factors for the Knicks this upcoming season is RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett, who was the third overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft, has consistently been one of the most underrated young players in the league. He had a very solid rookie year where he averaged 14 points and 5 boards a game and was top 5 in multiple rookie statistical categories. But for whatever reason, this didn't matter to the voters, and RJ was snubbed from the All-Rookie team. To add insult to injury, Eric Paschall and Terrence Davis, two guys that made the All-Rookie team over RJ, have already been traded from their respective teams. RJ Barrett said himself that he was shocked that he didn't make the All-Rookie team, but that he would use it as motivation to improve the next season. And the proof of that hard work was what we saw from him. Last season, RJ emerged as the second leading scorer of a New York Knicks team that finished 4th in the Eastern Conference, averaging 17 points per game. Areas of his game that were once weaknesses became legit strengths. Going back to his Duke days, RJ has struggled with his outside shooting. RJ only shot 32% from 3 in his rookie year, and in his second year, he made a massive leap, knocking down 40% of his threes. And even that 40% mark may not be a true indicator of how good a three-point shooter RJ has become. In the first 11 games of the season, RJ Barrett shot just 18% on threes, but he quickly broke out of that slump, and the rest of the season, RJ shot an unreal 45% on threes. After just one offseason, RJ went from being a poor shooter to one of the top catch-and-shoot three-point shooters in the league. And along with his three-point shooting, RJ's free throw shooting has also gotten better as well. He shot just 61% from the free throw line in his rookie year and improved that rate to a respectable 75% in his second year. Now RJ is no longer a liability at the free throw line, and with his ability to draw fouls on his drives to the basket, this helped to increase his scoring average. And RJ didn't just improve on the offensive end, but also on a defensive end. RJ Barrett went from a below average defender in his first year to an excellent defender in his second year. To demonstrate, RJ held his opponents to 50% shooting from the field in his first year, and in his second year, he held his opponents to 43% shooting from the field. To show how good this is, RJ's defensive field goal percentage was better than Jimmy Butler, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown, all guys that are considered very good defenders. RJ Barrett has good size at 6'7" with a 6'10" wingspan. He's strong, plays hard on defense, and is always willing to guard the best player on the opposing team. He was a huge part of a New York Knicks team that ranked 4th in defensive efficiency last season. It only took one summer of hard work for RJ to become an excellent two-way player for the Knicks. For RJ to improve that much that quickly really goes to show that he has a very strong work ethic. If RJ Barrett was to improve by leaps and bounds from year 1 to year 2, just imagine the leap he's going to make in his third year. This is why I believe RJ Barrett is headed for a breakout season. At just 21 years old, RJ is already very good, but the next step for him is to become an all-star or at least a borderline all-star caliber player. Now let's look at RJ's weaknesses and where he needs to improve. While RJ Barrett is a great spot-up three-point shooter, his pull-up three-point shooting leaves a lot to be desired. RJ barely took any pull-up threes last season, as most of his threes were off the catch, and on the pull-up threes that he did take, he only shot 30%. RJ isn't much of a threat to pull up from mid-range either. He only shot 35% from the mid-range area last season, which is pretty bad. RJ Barrett's inability to hit shots off the dribble undeniably limits him as a scorer. In pick and roll situations, defenders are aware that RJ isn't much of a threat to pull up, so they regularly can go under the screen. This would explain why RJ Barrett only shot 41% as a pick and roll ball handler. Defenders could go under the screen to encourage RJ to pull up, and better could attest his shots at the rim. RJ Barrett would be a much more deadly scorer if he was a serious threat to knock down shots off the bounce. Not only would it add a new dimension to his game, but it would also open up his driving lanes to the basket. If we look at some of the best shot creators in the league, like Jason Tatum for example, he's just as much of a threat to knock down a pull-up three in your face as he is to drive to the basket and finish at the rim. This forces opponents to play honest defense. A pull-up three and a pull-up mid-range is needed for RJ to get to the next level. Fortunately, RJ Barrett's trainer Drew Hanlon has said on Twitter that the most important thing he's worked on with RJ this summer is shooting off the bounce. Drew Hanlon is an elite NBA trainer that's worked with plenty of players like Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal, and Zach LaVine. He's also the same trainer that helped to transform RJ's jumper last offseason. The fact that shooting off the bounce is a clear emphasis is a very good sign, and with RJ's great work ethic, this is an area of his game that looks like it's going to improve. RJ also needs to continue to work on his free throws. 75% is decent, but RJ should be looking to get that free throw percentage up to above 80%. He already gets to the free throw line a lot thanks to his drives to the basket. Raising his free throw percentage will only lead to a higher scoring average. And speaking of driving to the basket, another area of his game that needs to improve is his finishing. RJ shot 53% within 5 feet of the basket last season. That's an improvement from the 51% he shot in his rookie season, but he still needs to get better. If we look at the top below the rim finishers in the league, they're shooting in the high 50s or low 60s in that range. For example, Kyrie Irving shot an impressive 59% within 5 feet of the basket last season, and Kyrie is considered to be one of the best finishers in the NBA. RJ Barrett gets to the rim pretty easily. He may not be the fastest, but he's crafty and has a nice handle and is able to get to the rim with regularity. He just needs to do a better job of converting when he gets there. Against the Miami Heat, he missed a layup that would have sent the game into overtime. Butler did contest from behind, but these are the type of layups that good finishers make. He definitely could use some softer touch around the rim. I'm sure RJ and his trainer Drew Hanlon are very much aware of this weakness, and I'm sure finishing is one of their main points of emphasis this offseason. If RJ was able to get worlds better as a shooter from his rookie year to his sophomore year, I'm sure he could get much better as a finisher in his third year too. Hopefully for RJ Barrett, a breakout season can also mean potentially making the All-Star team. RJ averaged 17 points per game last year. Once you get to the point where you're averaging over 20 and you're on a winning team, this is where you start to get serious All-Star consideration. Of course, the Knicks already have an All-Star in Julius Randle. Usually to get 2 All-Stars, you have to be a team that finishes very high in the standings, so the Knicks will likely have to be a top 4 seed again for this to happen. If RJ can have an All-Star caliber year, this also raises the ceiling of the New York Knicks. It should help make them a team that should be able to go deeper in the playoffs. The Knicks front office made good additions by signing Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, but the internal development of a player like RJ Barrett will also help to determine this team's fate. But anyway guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Do you think RJ Barrett will have a breakout season next year? How many points do you think he'll average? Tell me in the comments. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and have a great rest of your day.